All right, so the other day when I was trying to replace a creaking headset, which I actually fixed, I had to take this whole thing apart and drop out the fork. I lubed everything, the bearings were looking good in there, so I got rid of the creaking. That was taken care of, but one thing I noticed that I couldn't do is I couldn't get my front wheel off. And the reason being is this is a Maxle Thru-axle for the RockShox fork here. Well, apparently what it was doing is it was seizing up. I could get this side out all right, but once I got to a certain point, I could see that the hub on the brake side was seizing up. It wasn't coming out. There's no grease in there at all. It was pretty bone dry. So the secret to getting that thing out, if it's stuck in there, and you'll notice when you're spinning it or trying to remove it, that this side will spin along with the axle as you're trying to get it out. So you're actually working against yourself. It's not doing anything. So what you have to do is use a pair of channel locks or some other type of pliers and hold that hub steady so it doesn't move. That's the one thing you need, along with this miracle PB blaster. So I sprayed that in on both sides and let it soak in for about 2 minutes. Tilted the bike on both ends and just sprayed right into the holes right here and the other side, and you just let it soak in there and do its work. And then as you're holding the hub with your channel locks, and it's a lot easier to do this, is you wrap a sorry about the photography here, it's really crappy, I know. You'll hold this with a rag, it'll make it easier on your hand, and you just start working it. And then working and working and working and working, and I just got to a point where I also used that rubber mallet, and I gave it a couple of short, sharp taps right on here, and one very soft one here, just to loosen it up a little bit. And after working and working it, it finally popped out. So now I'm going to throw some waterproof grease on this bad boy. I'm going to check my hubs and make sure everything's all right. I'll probably throw some grease inside of there, very minimal, and we should be back in business. But it was a real pain in the neck, and there's not too many videos out there about this Maxle being stuck, and it's very important you do proper maintenance on these things, and I admittedly have neglected to put grease on here and check it. And after riding it for probably about 2,000 miles now I put on this bike, and having it out in the elements while we were traveling for a year, I think it finally ran its course. So I'm going to do that to this one, and I already greased the rear one yesterday just to make sure everything was good. And we'll be back in business, and this will be back together again. All right.